Welcome back to the Tim and Gugabe podcast. For you guys complaining about the audio, I hope this is better this week and eventually we'll sort that out. If you haven't noticed, I'm actually leading this podcast because Gugabe had a work event this evening and I think he is a little intoxicated. So hopefully I right the ship and he can keep up. So how you doing, Gugabe?
To quote the first Prime Minister of Australia, good day, cunts. Yeah, so we're recapping UFC 239. Yep, 239.
Yeah.
With my boy Technical Tim, and I'm Gugabe. Alright, so first we'll cover Technical Tim's rampant doubting of Jordi Arbilia, who has perplexing power. How perplexed are you by her power?
I didn't play it or anything, but I originally thought she kind of sucked on tape. And then once I saw her fight with Nico Montano, I was actually pretty impressed and kind of understood why the line was justified. But she's good, man. I think she's going to do well at 135. So.
Yeah, but I just about agree, to be honest. Like, I was like looking at regional women's MMA tape, and I was like, oh god, let's go regional women's MMA tape. But yeah, she seems to have power. I'm not sure how, because her striking technique is awful, but fair enough. And yeah, she looks good. Like, if she can beat Nico Montano, I think she could be a top 10 bantamweight at least.
Yeah, at least, yeah, definitely.
I want to chance Rencontre. I put like 0.1 units on chance Rencontre at last moment just because I was like, this is MMA, beating Prazeres, one performance. Doesn't really justify minus 600 price here. MMA is a very confusing and dynamic sport, so yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, people were like parlaying up Ismail too, and even like playing his money line. So, yeah, I just wasn't sold on that Prazeres win, even though it was a big name. The function of how he got that done was just like kind of bridging out of situations, and Prazeres kind of just gassing. So, yeah, and then Rencounter actually stayed in half guard, which is something Prazeres should have done after he got bridged out of the first mount. And yeah, like European wrestling championships are highly overrated too.
Also, past 5 minutes, that Prazeres fight was kind of a sloppy gas fest.
Yeah, it was.
Both kind of gassed. So Rencontre just being able to keep in the fight, keep doing intelligent stuff, just worked, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like people kind of make fun of. Is it Rencounter or Rencontre? I don't even know. I'll call him Chance.
Chance, that's probably my name for him.
Chance, I feel like he's a little underrated too, just because he kind of looks like an idiot, but he's actually like pretty good. I mean, he's a pretty good wrestler, and he doesn't gas, and he's tough and kind of gritty. Like, I don't know, he's not that bad of a fighter.
Yeah, he's not awful. I don't think he's necessarily going anywhere, but yeah. I think he'll hang on to the UFC for 4 or 5 fights, I guess.
Yeah. I'm just saying he's like UFC worthy and like doesn't have like many holes. I mean, he's going to get beat by better guys, but yeah.
There's no real shame in losing to Bilal Muhammad, to be honest, because Bilal Muhammad, I think, is like in the top 20 smartest UFC fighters, even top 10.
I would put him top 10. His fight IQ, he's right up there with like Volkanovski, in my opinion, as being super high fight IQ.
Like, yeah, he's not particularly athletic or anything, but he just seems to do the right things, and that's worth a lot.
He fights like he has money on himself. Like, he kind of just gives himself the best chance to win every fight. So
exactly, I respect and like Bilal Muhammad a lot. I wish he was just a bit more athletic so he could really turn into a championship man. I feel like Bilal Muhammad kind of has that ceiling of just being kind of a C+ athlete, but yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Sharpazian submission. I think we both had that. I made about 4K off that, so I was happy with it.
I didn't play it nearly. I didn't play it nearly as much as you, though. I just put like $50 late. That line was off. Edmund's got a good wrestler, so
pretty much. Like, and also I figured Marshman would kind of take a punch. Marshman's not easy to stop. He took a bunch of punishment off Santos, so it's not like, alright, he's getting instantly died to a ground and pound. So really, I got plus 1400, and I thought it'd be like plus 300 realistically. Like, I'm not saying it was lock or anything, but like, that was just. I think Sharpazian's I'm still not like sure he'll beat like top echelon talent, but yeah, he seems to have a decent base. Like I was discussing in another sort of I was discussing in one of my little Twitter chats who's got the most chance of beating like the John Jones 23 years old champion record, and I think Shabazian's probably got the best chance of the current UFC roster.
Yeah, I'm still not like I'm high on his wrestling. A lot of people were giving him shit because he couldn't out wrestle Stewart, but Stewart has honestly really good defensive wrestling, and he's really hard to kind of mat return. But yeah, so I like Shabazian, especially his wrestling. I think it's really good. I do think his striking. I don't think he's. I feel like he's one of those blitzing strikers, kind of like it kind of almost reminds me of Roosevelt Roberts, where I mean Roberts looked a little better with the striking in his last fight, where he just kind of throws wild athletic exchanges, but it doesn't look like he can strike for a full 15 minutes, like disciplined, you know?
Yeah, definitely agreed. But my thing of him is,
But he's young. He's really young, so
a middleweight is kind of a dumpster fire, to be honest.
yeah.
Like, this is just like I had this random conversation with some guys on Twitter about like who could possibly beat the John Jones 23 years old champion record. Like a guy like Shabazian could with the right matchmaking. Like probably require like a meme first round knockout or two, but like yeah, that could happen.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Like it would either be him or like some heavyweight Ngannou sort of figure. Like honestly, like I mean, how much has Francis Ngannou really benefited from being 30 years old? I'm sure I could find a 23 years old for Francis Ngannou's athleticism and teach him how to be Francis Ngannou.
Yeah. This will probably be controversial, but I actually like if I was managing Edmund, I wouldn't keep him at kind of like the progression he's going as far as matchmaking. I think he's going to get some tough guys and probably get KO'd at a young age, you know? And I still think he's really good. And it's not that he can't compete with some of those guys, but I just feel like he might take damage too early before he gets into his athletic prime, to where if I was them, I would honestly like I would try to do something to get him like easier matchups. Like honestly, like sign with Bellator and kind of just get easy matchups and then come to the UFC in a few years just so he can develop his skills. Because I think he might not be there as a striker. That's going to be super controversial, but I think it's more of an avoiding damage at a young age type of thing, where he could then compete with the guys and like maybe dominate them later. If that makes sense.
My read would more be trying to put a position to take out some sort of shaky older middleweights, like say David Branch or something.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Like I could see Shabazian losing to like Gerald Meerschaert or some shit, just because Gerald Meerschaert is just ridiculously tough. Even Tim Boach, that sort of like level of competition. It's because those sorts of guys can just sort of just hang in there and just venture kill you with like a third round TKO. But like,
and guys who can just maybe negate the wrestling. Like, I think he beats like most of those guys, but I do think he'll like. I mean, I say that, but then I look at the middleweight rankings and it's not very good. So, but like I don't know, just getting thrown in with like a Paulo Costa, for example, he might get like obliterated.
Yeah, I agree with that. My thing is just like I feel like you could catch some guys on sort of the athletic downturn, who you could probably just sort of catapult yourself off instead of taking on like the middle class middleweights. Like certain guys like Meerschaert and that sort of stuff who you can kind of get stuck on because it's just like, well, we're not necessarily that good, but they're tough. Well, if you catch like a Weidman or a Branch or even the Rockhold on the way down, you can kind of just sort of catapult yourself off their name just because like they're better than Meerschaert, but they're fragile.
Yeah, it's just if I was a manager, like I agree with everything you're saying. I think it's just if I was a manager, like I feel like it's like your job for a young fighter to like make sure he doesn't get in too many wars early. And I do feel like he might be underdeveloped in areas and he could end up in wars. But at the same time, I feel like managers don't know anything. I know just because they work for like the same like celebrity, but I know Misha Tate's manager, and he was wanting this is funny. He was wanting the Amanda Nunes fight rather than the whole Holly Holm rematch back in 2016. And he's friends with my buddy. And I told him, I was like, I actually think, even though Amanda was a big underdog, I actually thought like Holly was the better matchup for Misha to win again. And they thought it was easy money against Nunez. Like the manager, I just feel like sometimes the managers don't really know much about fighting or capping fights or anything.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. I just feel like look at like some Hermansson's recent trajectory.
Yeah,
Like I feel like Hermansson could still lose a fight to a bunch of like mid-tier middleweights. Like fucking Talos Laites kind of beat him for 2 rounds.
true. Yeah,
So like I feel like there's a bunch of mid-tier middleweights who could beat Hermansson, but Hermansson's kind of like taking advantage of some top-tier middleweights on the downslow.
Yeah.
Same thing with Edmen. I think Edmen could beat David Branch at this point, or like Jacare. Like just if Edmen just came out hard on Jacare, put a decent pace on him, I think he could just beat him. Well, so I feel like they're like a bunch of middle tier, like Tavares or something. Like I give Edmen a better chance beating Jacare in 5 rounds than would like Tavares in 5 rounds. Because I'm fairly sure Tavares would keep working for 5 rounds.
Yeah, for sure. I could see Cannonier being Cannonier's kind of improved his wrestling. I could maybe see him. Depends if it's a 3 or 5 rounder. I feel like Edmund's good for a 3 rounder.
Even like Jacare, if you got like Jacare or some shit, Jacare's gonna be dead after like 7 minutes.
Yeah, he would honestly probably beat Jacare.
I could see a easier window to beat Jacare than they could like Tavares, because like Tavares will make you work for 25 minutes.
Yeah, like you can't just like gas him out.
Yeah, same with like Heinisch or some shit like that. Like you know Heinisch or Tavares will make you work the entire time you're in that cage.
Yeah.
Even Theodora, to be honest, like I'd give him a better shot than Jacare than beating like Theodora, because I know Theodora's tough.
Yeah, you just don't get that like easy victory by just like outlasting your opponent and letting them die. But
or just out dynamicing him for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, Yadong Song looking. I felt like Perez was looking kind of okay before he died, but yeah, I don't have anything really on it. But I know you played Yadong.
Yeah, I played him. I mean, I feel like when you bet someone and they bet 4 against someone and like there's a quick knockout, it's hard to know exactly how it is. Song was outlanding him 8-1, but it was only a 2-minute sample, so it's kind of hard. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say. I was glad the bet hit, but I think Song looked good. But 2 minutes of fighting, it's kind of hard to judge. But he's really fast. He's a super athlete.
Look, I'm impressed that Yadong Song has been 21 for 4 years now. That takes some doing. There's videos in China where he's like tell the tape for 21 years old, so like for like 5 years now. So that takes some doing. But
yeah.
I didn't play it. Yadong Song looked like a good play, but I'm just I didn't really see enough to be able to say comprehensively.
Yeah, it's tough to know when fights end that quickly.
But my standards of minus 200 is like ridiculous. Like my standard of a good minus 400 hit is like Cachoeira, Shevchenko. That's just my personal bias.
Yeah, no, I like get it. I get where I get like the risk tolerance thing, but I also think just like even if you're minus 200 and you win a close fight, like I feel like you can still be justified. You know, like just because a fight's competitive, if you still win 30-27, I feel like the line could even be heavier. I feel like sometimes it's hard to put a percentage on things though. I've had like I know good bettors like you who kind of have your same philosophy, and you might be right, I might be wrong. I might be right, you might be wrong. I have no idea, but I don't know. Just even like someone winning like 75% of the time at minus 300, I feel like I don't know, like it can still be a competitive fight if you win 3 out of 4 times. Like, I don't know. I just feel like when I beat someone at just like certain activities and I like tend to get the better of them, they can still be competitive even if I win like 70 to 80% of the time. But I feel you. Like, I understand where you're coming from. Like, you're kind of just being cautious, but
also, I just think that at the end of the day, you only see these people like one every 6 months or so.
True.
And you just don't know whether that last performance was because of an injury behind the scenes or all sorts of shit. Like,
yeah,
at the end of the day, like, UFC career is like, what? For most fighters we're betting on, it's probably like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Against very specific style matchups, against very specific contexts. It's just not enough to be able to. Unless I'm like I've crossed minus 200 like 3 times in the last year.
Yeah.
The last time I crossed it was for Tito Ortiz. This Chuck Liddell 3.
I played Tito too. Yeah.
But like, yeah, that was level of certainty which made me cross to minus 200. Where it's just like, all right, Chuck Liddell's literally dead.
Yeah, it's just like if you think about it, though, like 6.5 times out of 10 is minus 200, and it's like it can still be competitive and be justified. But I still see where you're coming from. Like I'm not saying it's hard. Like it's hard to kind of put percentages on things and think of like what they actually pay. Like I feel like Valentina Cachuero is like over 95% type of shit. Like it'd be like injury or just like a really random thing happening. Like I feel like that's much different than like a minus 300. But
yeah, I kind of look at like I think there's like a 2.5, like 5% chance where just like random meme shit happens.
Yeah, that you can't anticipate. Yeah,
that covers injuries, robberies, random massive step ups, random massive step downs, random just all sorts of shit.
Or just like the actual pace in the fight kind of like not playing out how you expected. Like even like the next fight, Gaudelia and Marcos, like I was expecting both girls to mix in grappling, and it kind of just like changed the entire dynamic of the fight when they just stood at range for 15 minutes and had a low volume kickboxing match. So yeah. I see where you're coming from. Like, and I'm still kind of figuring this out as I've been betting, for a few years, 4 years now. But yeah, I see where you're coming from. I think there's kind of like a middle ground, but anyway, Gaudelia and Marcos, yeah, it was kind of just they both just didn't wrestle at all, which was kind of weird. I had a small play on Marcos, but yeah, she kind of just got eaten up from the outside in like a weird fight.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like I also had small play on Marcos. I just didn't expect her to just kind of concede the losing fight. Like, yeah. She didn't really try to, like, I mean, it's a big call to say she didn't try to win, but, like, she just didn't do much. Like, she just didn't seem to be very interested.
Yeah, she kind of seemed unaware of how the rounds are being scored. Like, I hate, like, when you see Volkanovski fight or, like, a Damian Maia, they're very aware of the scoreboard, I feel, where other fighters just aren't, like they show no urgency if it's tied or anything. And I feel like that's kind of how she was, where she was clearly down. And when she actually did pursue and kind of blitz in, she would land and at times, but then she just wouldn't do it enough.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I don't know, she didn't really show much urgency. Like, yeah, I honestly feel like if Marcos just thrown like 10 more strikes around, she could have won that fight, just because it was just such a low volume fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't feel bad about Marcos plus 200, because like just it was kind of like close fight. But on the other hand, it was just like, well, all right, you can do that. But
yeah, it's kind of funny because like I agree with that, but then at the same time, if they fight like that, it looks like Claude is like minus 500. So it's like what the fuck, Ronda? Like, do your shit.
Yeah, pretty much. You are accounting a lot of unknowns of this sort of betting.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But if Marcos literally thrown like 10 more, like not even effective strikes, just if she'd like gone in twice more around, I could see that being her decision.
Yeah,
she's like throwing like literally 2 flurries. But yeah, it was just kind of a mess. Marlon Vera showing why Marlon Vera should never bet as a favorite against anybody. I'm sorry, Marlon Vera just he wins, but he's awful. It's just kind of like Brian Ortega sort of shit. Like, there's not much more you can say. Like, he was what, minus 500 or something?
Yeah, he was like minus 400.
And Hernandez was like plus 100 after round 1. Like, it's just like, how can you justify ever playing Marlon Vera as a favorite?
Yeah, it's like plays inside the distance line if you want to play him, and that's it. I will say he is like a pretty good finisher, I feel. But
he's not awful or anything. He just has he just doesn't fucking do shit for the first half of the fight.
Yeah. I do think this fight was a little different. Like there's been other fights, like the Canetti fight, where he's just like he's like losing the entire fight and gets the finish. I feel like this fight, people were overstating the success of Hernandez. Like Vera still won about 7 minutes of that fight. It was really just Hernandez reversing from ground and pound after Vera went for an armbar and just like landing some kind of heavy shots, and that's it. And like Vera won 4 minutes of that round. I mean, I'd have to look at the precise time, but I feel like he won the majority of that round. And then round 2, he just like kind of beat his ass. But I mean, obviously, if you're minus 400, you don't want someone to land unanswered ground and pound for like 45 seconds on you, you know?
But on the other hand, this was a minus 500. This was a plus 500 underdog who came off the regionals on 2 fucking weeks' notice.
Yeah.
And he still fucking went for an armbar from back control.
Yeah.
Armbars and back control exist purely for overtime rules and fucking EBI.
Yeah.
Which, even in that case, it's like a 10% chance you win the fight instantly, 9% chance you lose.
Yeah, when
like
people
armbars and back control is just something I do if I just like, all right, you're better than me, but I get back to meme the shit up.
Yeah, it's just like keep those underhooks from your back position and just go for the rear naked choke at times and just maintain control. I don't know why people like jump for guillotines and go for arm bars in 2019. You can jump for guillotines if you're like a Munoz or someone else who can kind of use it as a takedown defense mechanism, but that's kind of it.
Yeah, pretty much. Like personally, my grappling I occasionally go for the armbar from back control, but like that's just purely like a Hail Mary, like, oh fuck, I can't really fish too much to mean I can choke or back control. I'm just gonna go for this to see if I get mounted or something.
Yeah, it's fine for jiu-jitsu, but like, yeah, it's totally fine for jiu-jitsu. But for MMA, and top control is just such a big part of it. It's like, what the fuck?
Melendez versus Allen. Allen actually looked pretty good here. Like Melendez, I think looked kind of like a corpse. Like I played Melendez, but I had a real hedge on. There's a good chance Melendez could just look like a corpse here.
Yeah.
But Allen actually that was a career best performance for Allen, in my opinion. Like he actually showed like previously he's had issues of not really doing much.
Yeah.
And against Melendez, he did a lot. You know, he did quite a bit. He looked good. Like, you know, this is the first I've really taken Allen seriously as a prospect. Like going forward, I'll probably still fade him a bit just because like how much of it is Melendez just being a corpse, but
yeah,
like if he's favorite randomly against like a ranked featherweight next fight, I'd probably still fade him. But like, yeah, that's the best Allen performance I think I've seen.
Yeah, I was previously kind of thinking about a Melendez bet, and I like totally understood the logic of playing Melendez here just because Allen, I mean, when you throw 2.2 strikes per minute in all your other fights, it's not a good look. But then whenever I kind of rewatched his fights, I noticed he would throw if you kind of engaged with him. Like, I didn't think it was like some people are low volume just because they gas or they can't really throw that much. You know, it's just kind of part of their game. Where I feel like Allen, it's kind of like a matter of what his opponent's doing. And I thought Melendez would bring the heat a little bit, which he kind of did early. And I feel like that opened up Allen to actually throw a lot. So that's kind of why I ended up just staying away. But I agree with you. I do want to just kind of see a little more of Allen against a little better guys, you know. But he looked really good. Like he could at 145. 145 isn't like the best division. He could easily be like a top 5 guy, you know.
Top 5, I still think Swerve Reach, but yeah, top 5 ranked definitely. Like, you know, if he was like randomly like minus 200 against Burgos or like Lamas, I'd probably have to play Lamas or Burgos against them. Even Elkins.
Yeah, I like his head movement in the pocket. Like he's super calm there.
But like, yeah, imagine like 2 months from now, Cub Swanson versus Allen is announced, and like Allen is like minus 200. I'd still kind of not quite be there. Like
yeah, I think it just depends on the match. He's currently ranked 13. He just got he's ranked ahead of Burgos. That's funny.
Even a guy like Miles Jury or something, I still probably, if he was like a big underdog to Allen, I've still got a big enough question mark there. I've kind of have to play him.
Yeah.
And yeah, end of the day, Allen, yeah, he looked good, but I'm just kind of like, you know, end of the day, how much can you really build off that Melendez win?
True.
Like,
yeah.
It's possible Melendez was just a corpse.
Yeah. Melendez looked really old.
Yeah, Melendez had success for the first round, but he just kind of gassed.
Yeah. Chiesa Sanchez. I had Chiesa just on a small parlay. But
say inside the distance, I'm very pissed off. Like, stop the fucking fight, you fucking ref.
yeah, man. Stoppages are. I just don't get the whole thing. Like that's why I tweeted out. I thought the Nunez stoppage over Holm was really good because Goddard didn't wait until Holly was dead. You know, like
Yeah, well, there was like a 20-second stretch in the second round where I was just like, Sanchez is fucking done. Just stop it.
yeah. I just don't get that. Like if you're down like 170-30 in the significant strikes and you're just kind of on the mat, and even if you're not flattened, I would step in much more as a ref. Like I think you just kind of have to wait. What are the chances of Diego actually winning this fight compared to how much more damage is he going to take, even if it doesn't knock him out, type of thing. I mean, yeah, I don't know, but his cornerman was super entertaining though, Diego.
Yeah, I felt like the fight should be stopped, but yeah, Chiesa looked.
Oh yeah, it should have been stopped, but
Chiesa looked competent. Still don't like that. Doesn't really tell me anything more about Chiesa. Like even against fucking Sanchez, Chiesa still gave up top position a few times because Chiesa kind of overreached himself going for shit. Like
yeah, I'm not super high on Chiesa as like a fight. Like I think he's fine. I think he's good, but I don't think he is gonna like win a belt or anything. But
like my kind of hope for Chiesa was he gets like a fight against Nelson or like fucking Maya or just somebody of even Martin and is like a favorite, and I'm just like, fuck you, you're fucked. That's kind of my best case scenario for Chiesa. That's really the only place I see myself really playing him.
yeah,
Even like Edwards, I feel like Edwards just fucks him because like I feel like Chiesa is just too. He's not really that good at keeping top control. He just seems too opportunistic.
Yeah, the thing about him though, and kind of what I saw on tape is even if he loses, like I get really mad if I'm betting a fighter and they lose top position. They kind of do stuff like Chiesa does, but Chiesa is legit as far as kind of getting back up. He kind of uses offensive wrestling from his back to get up, kind of like how Damian Maia uses that half guard sweep. Chiesa doesn't do the same technique, but he has a lot of like offense to get back up. So I do like that, even though he will lose position, he can gain it right back.
I feel
like there's some wrestlers he's not going to be able to do that too, you know.
Pretty much. I just feel like Chiesa's good enough that he can out grapple like mediocre grapplers, but against like truly elite grapplers, he just leaves enough openings, like he can just get tapped essentially immediately.
Yeah,
or just like in the day, yeah, like he's kind of like the Kevin Lee sort of situation where he's always trying to advance position.
Yeah.
Like, well, somebody who's more like a bit more intelligent, be able to go, all right, fuck, I've got half guard. This isn't necessarily going to immediately win me the fight, but I've got half guard, so I can sit here for 3 minutes and I can just do nothing.
He's pretty much a wrestler who's learned like good attacking offensive jiu-jitsu, and that's kind of it. You know, like he's not like a well-rounded BJJ guy.
Yeah, Kevin.
Like he's
like less athletic Kevin Lee to me. That's kind of my belief. Like, he's just always trying to advance to a finish, just good. Like I'm not against that, but I feel like against a certain level of jiu-jitsu, they're just like, fuck you, I'm better than you.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't do that stuff versus Anthony Pettis because Anthony Pettis can actually retain guard and has one of the best guards attacking in the sport, honestly.
I mean, Kaiser's had success against Pettis. They got fucking Ito like broke his foot.
Yeah, true.
I like, even Kaiser versus Meyer. Like, if Kaiser like was like evens against Meyer, I'd just fucking hammer Meyer.
Oh yeah,
I'd just be like, Kaiser's gonna do something dumb and get tapped.
Maya's gonna sub Chiesa. Unless if Maya gasses, which is like possible. But yeah.
But Kaiser's gonna give Maya space and room to work.
Yeah.
Because like somebody who is just willing to hold half guard, willing to hold a neutral, like an advantageous neutral position, so just time would be able to sub Maya would be able to gas Maya out. But somebody who like Kaiser, who's always trying to actually turn it into something attacking jiu-jitsu wise, will just give Maya that opening to reverse or sub or whatever.
Yeah.
Luke Rockhold looked fat, slow, and shit against Jan Blachowicz. I kind of regret not playing Jan Blachowicz because Jan Blachowicz is one of my boys, but yeah, just Rockhold looked shit, to be honest.
The biggest regret like that I have of this entire night, like I ended up profiting this night, but I feel like not playing Jan here by KO or just like playing him because I I was kind of like, yeah, I guess Luke should be favored. But then like the more I taped, I was like, fuck, Jan might knock him out with like I even kind of put on Twitter like he might knock him out with a left hook, and I think that's actually what happened. But he like Luke just leaves so many openings, man, and he's not good in the pocket. Like he kind of has to just be at range with straight punches, his like 1-2 and his body kicks and his kicks. But yeah, he looked really bad. But I'm not like a Luke. I'm not like I don't really hate any fighters. Like I feel like a lot of people hate Luke. So I don't want to like bash on him, but he looked pretty. That was really bad. Like he looked terrible.
What I did like saying from Rockhold is he immediately went for double leg. Like,
Yeah,
he just straight out the gate immediately went for the take. I mean, it wasn't good because he didn't get the takedown, but like previously, Rockhold would have spent like 8 minutes fucking around and kicking game and that sort of stuff before like finding a random triangle.
yeah.
But on the other hand, if he's starting to actually go for the wrestling game and he's not getting it, he's just kind of like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Rockhold's probably, you know, Rockhold on top of you was just fucking terrifying. I still think Rockhold on top of you was top 3 in the sport, but just pure terrifying. Just
Agreed.
ridiculously good.
Yeah, his hips are ridiculous at flattening you out, and he like pops in that body triangle right away too. He's got a heavy top game.
And everything's
yeah.
just so well integrated. Like most guys, like they might have a better pure jiu-jitsu game than Rockhold, but they just won't have the ground and pound.
Yeah.
Rockhold just, but yeah, Jan just kind of killed him. Like, I don't think because people are saying Rockhold's chin is bad. I think it's more defensive issues. Because like, what was the softest we've seen Rockhold put out? Like Jan still hit him with a fucking massive left hook. Bisping hit him with a fucking massive clean left hook, and Romero hit him with a fucking massive shot.
Yeah, David Branch hurt him a little bit. I mean, I would say it's like he probably doesn't have the best chin, but the fact that he gets hit so clean is like kind of more of why he gets knocked out. Like I think it's kind of like a combination of both, but it's like if he didn't have the defensive issues, I think he wouldn't be getting KO'd all the time, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just not sure.
Like he doesn't have a good chin.
Yeah, I'm just, you know, when you're getting hit that hard, I'm kind of like, well,
Yeah.
you could have a C+ chin, you could have a D- chin. I'm just not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jorge Masvidal just should have been minus 20,000 against Aspen. There was no doubt there whatsoever. Clean, complete domination. Max bet, mission accomplished. But in all seriousness, like, I was happy to win 10 units off Masvidal, but that tells me essentially nothing of how the fight's going to play out. If anything, from a Masvidal bettor's point of view, the fact his immediate response was just to go for a flying knee is kind of like, I didn't necessarily want to see that from him. Like, yeah, there's 20% chance you immediately kill Askren, but there's also an 80% chance he just like kind of played into his game.
Yeah.
Like, my read here was Masvidal would be able to play an outside probing jab / boxing game and just eventually get a knockout, but like, I can tell literally nothing of value of how that fight went.
Yeah, I didn't play it, so like just kind of as a neutral observer, like I mean, I agree. It ended quick. It's hard to know. The one thing I will say, kind of in favor of Masvidal bettors, is, but like, I mean, this is pure speculation. It's not like scientific, but he like Askren, like, because I like Askren. I'm kind of like in the neutral field with him. Like you know how I am. Like I don't hate him. I don't think he's amazing either. And I do think there's flaws in his game. But his record, like his competition outside the UFC was not good. It's really Lima and Koreshkov in their infancy, and other than that, he hasn't fought anyone good. And he hasn't really fought any wrestlers except kind of Jay Huron, and that ended up being like a 50-50 coin flip. And then kind of whenever he fights two guys who are, I mean, this one ended so quick, so it's hard to know. But even like Lawler, it's like Masvidal and Lawler, the two guys who are actually good, like top 10.
He gets knocked out in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, I think it just goes to he is like obviously super hittable, you know, and that's not good when you're going against guys who can land clean. It's just he doesn't move his head or anything, and that's just not good to let that someone can kind of just land at will. But so I don't like that. Like, I don't like that part of Askren because he obviously can be landed. And he just didn't fight enough good people for them to land on him because he could just lay on them for 15 minutes. But at the same time, I totally think it's possible that he could lay on Masvidal and could have won. It's just we don't know for sure. That's kind of where I'm at.
True. I just feel like, if this had been a 50-50 fight, like price-wise, I respect Askren play. But at minus 250, when there's such an obvious and massive chance to Masvidal just kill him.
Yeah. The minus 250 wasn't good because there's still question marks. Like, they still have, even if Askren justified that line, I don't think he's justified for the information we know now.
Exactly. You can't purely look at things from hindsight point of view. You have to understand. You have to look at it from what actual information that we have.
Yeah.
And also, like I was watching the Ariel Helwani interview with Askren today. And Askren was like, "I've never been unconscious before in a UFC fight." And they were just like, "You've been unconscious twice. Lyman Good knocked you out. Robbie Lawler knocked you out." Like, I mean, Lyman Good, Askren was fucked.
Yeah.
And against Robbie Lawler, he went limp. Like, Robbie Lawler revived him with the next punch, but there was a good second in there where Askren was just limp.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously been landed on hard before, and yeah, like there's too many question marks with him, but like it's going to be interesting because I wonder what that's going to do to his betting line, kind of next fight. Because
I'm kind of hoping for the Demian Maia fight, or even the Chiesa.
Maia would be fun. He would beat Chiesa.
But I'm hoping Chiesa was like even money for no particular reason. That'd be my hope there. I could see that happening.
Yeah,
somebody was like, "Oh, Chiesa's just subbed Condis and Sanchez." Oh,
yeah. It'll be interesting, like, because I'm kind of looking. I never look at rankings, but because I do a podcast now, I kind of look at them. But what? Yeah, like at welterweight. Yeah, I'm like looking at
Nelson wouldn't be Jim. Askren Nelson, how would you feel about that?
I think Askren would beat him.
I think he would, but I'm just, I can't give enough respect to Nelson's grappling. I wouldn't necessarily say it'd be blowout.
Askren would win that top position battle for sure, in my opinion. Yeah. Like you can't. One thing about Askren, and we haven't seen it in his game. If you're willing to wrestle him, holding him down is pretty tough. And like I feel like you can, like Askren would be able to hold Nelson down for periods, and like if Nelson threw more, I would kind of have more faith in him. Like he could still kill Askren. Gunner hits hard, but I don't think he throws enough to like up the percentages of the KO.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Like I think he would beat Neil Magny. I think he would just kind of take him down.
How about Askren RDA?
I'm
just kind of thinking, like I could see Askren getting completely fucked by RDA, but I could also see him fucking RDA.
I think that would be kind of a close fight. Where the thing is, he could. The thing is, RDA could still knock him out. Like I'm just afraid of like if Askren doesn't get like if he's standing with RDA just even for like 5 minutes in a 25-minute fight, like he still has a high chance of getting KO'd.
I'm just looking at the welterweights of top 15 and thinking he would be fun to see Askren against.
I think he would beat Till personally because Till can't get up.
True, but Till could just kill him.
True. Oh, I mean, anyone could kill Askren. Like, but
yeah,
I'm just
particularly Till.
Yeah,
Askren Covington could be fun. Like, I think that'd be interesting. Askren RDA would be interesting. Like, I'm happy to see Askren just kind of have like soft grappling matches. Even Askren Martin would be pretty interesting.
I think they should make Askren Gunner. I think that would be a fun fight. And
Askren Nico Price when Nico Price knocks him out from bottom side control.
Oh god, yeah.
Like Nico Price to get killed Jeff Neal. I'm sorry, but it's gonna happen.
Honestly, like I know you talk about minus 200s, but like you don't. It's truly KO or bust for Nico in that fight, and
Nico Price is pure. If it's fueled by pure meme magic, do not fuck with Nico Price.
Well, Jeff Neal's minus 250 or minus 240.
Meme magic.
All right, moving on to the next fight. Nunez Holm. I do just not even about the
I had a
fight.
bunch of overs, yeah.
I think that was an amazing stoppage by Goddard. Like Holly was about to get 10 follow-ups to where she died.
Personally, I think Nunes should have subbed her, which I think would have been a lot better for me. But yeah, I had a bunch of overs here. I kind of felt like, all right, Nunes kind of caught it with a head kick, but for the 4 minutes prior of that fight to that, it felt like it was kind of going over, I guess. Like neither was really setting much of a pace.
Yeah, I was talking to you during this fight, and even before that head kick, I thought like I didn't think Nunez was landing too clean. Like she was landing shots, but
Yeah, Nunes is definitely winning.
Yeah, she was definitely winning, but she wasn't landing like. I wasn't like, oh my god, Holly's gonna get knocked out. Like I thought this was just gonna play out. Like Holly pivots off well, has good head movement, and then just a head kick kind of landed.
Yeah, pretty much. Like Holly Holm kind of got bunched up and fucked, but like I don't know, it's just the way I felt it was going. I felt like Holly Holm probably lose like 49-46.
Yeah,
like,
that's kind of what I thought too. Like it was going to be like a 4-1 type of fight.
Maybe like a 3-2 on some judge's scorecard, they were a bitch, but
if Nunez just kind of like lowered activity later, yeah, I can see
or
that.
just like Holm just seems to appeal to judges for some reason.
Yeah,
I'm not sure why. She just does.
By screaming when she strikes, doing that thing that she does.
Certain fighters just seem to appeal to judges. Like even Alejandro Perez, realistically, if you actually look at his fights, could be like a barely fringe UFC bantamweight. The Alcantara fight was just tedium and nothing. Sukumtar, he robbed. Winelands, he robbed. Like, if you actually look at who Mariah Perez kind of actually like cleanly won against, like Matthew Lopez's best win. And Lopez kind of fell off a cliff. Even Lopez, Lopez beat him in the first round pretty handily.
And Lopez has the worst cardio I've ever seen for a 135-pounder.
Yeah, and Lopez kind of almost put 10-8 up in the first round, so it wasn't like Lopez got destroyed by him.
Yeah.
All right, John Jones, Thiago Santos. I kind of felt like Thiago Santos, like if he hadn't destroyed his knee, like credit Thiago Santos continued to throw spinning kicks on like no ligaments. I'm not sure how you can physically do that.
Yeah,
like Thiago Santos, like he didn't win that fight, but like if he had like won the robbery, I'd have been fucking ecstatic. Like just between John Jones kind of underperforming and Thiago Santos just putting on one of the grittiest, hardest, manliest performances.
Yeah, I had Jones parlayed up with Chiesa, so I'm glad that didn't happen. But it was kind of like I feel like the fight. I have like a couple things on this fight. I do think Jones, and I've kind of actually thought this for a long time. I think is like a defensive wrestler and being able to hold Jones down. I think he's the best in the sport. Like I just don't think you can hold Jones down. But as far as an offensive wrestler and his own wrestling, I've actually never like I think it was good back in the day because he was fighting kind of like guys who weren't that good, like Matyushenko, just like a different generation of fighters. But the newer generation, Jones really just has a double leg, and that newer generation of fighters can usually stop those. And like a Cormier has better offensive wrestling, even though he couldn't do that stuff to Jones, but he can do it to other people.
Who's the best person Jones really like counter wrestled against? Cormier. But how many takedowns Cormier really go for?
He went. There was a couple scrambling situations where I feel like Jones kind of showed elite takedown defense. And I do think Rashad shot a couple shots, but I do agree he hasn't gone against like the best wrestlers, but at 205 and heavyweight, he probably has. Or like that 205 range.
I don't know. Jones just kind of, like, and also I'm not sure how much it was just like him.
Hey, one I can tell you. Remember, he schooled Bader on whenever they wrestled. Do you remember that? Like
that was 10 years ago, though.
Yeah, but defensive wrestling kind of stays with you.
I'd give Modern Bader a shot. Modern Bader's improved his boxing a lot.
I think that.
I still feel like Bader got robbed of his title shot against Cormier time the Gustafsson fight.
This is my theory on Jones. I think he's really good if he can kind of just use his reach and kind of just like play that game and just be able to be comfortably voluming you up. And I think he could do that to a guy versus Bader because he's got like the big reach and size advantage. against Thiago Santos, even though he had the reach and size, he couldn't play his range game because he was he was afraid to throw punches to come into the pocket. So he kind of just went all kicks, which I think is a completely reasonable game plan. But Santos had an answer for that range with his own leg kicks and body kicks himself. So Jones couldn't just comfortably pick him up. And that's why his volume was like 1/5 of what it usually is. Where I feel like Jones is just kind of matchup dependent. Like he could still put on like I still think if he fights like a Ryan Bader, he kind of cleans them out, or a Cormier where he can just kind of use his kicks a lot because he was just battering Cormier with kicks a lot and just upping up the volume. But like I just feel like strikers who can kick themselves and land, I feel like those are kind of like he never really has gone against a kicker, has he? Until Santos.
Not really a proficient one. Like, but even like modern Beta, I could say Beta like getting some advantage in boxing range. Because Beta hits a lot harder than most of the Jones' other opponents. He's quite a bit dynamic.
Yeah.
I also like I was kind of confused why Jones didn't crash the pocket against Santos. Like,
Why did what?
He didn't like force the clinch.
I think
Like, he had Santos pushed up against Gage a lot of the time. He just refused to really force the clinch.
I think he was just kind of hesitant of the power. That's what I think.
Yeah, true. But I'm just kind of like, it's like I had this kickboxing coach like years ago who was just like, end of the day, you might take a risk by crushing the pocket, but you're better off finishing somebody in a minute than you are like going to position with them over 15 minutes. Like, you're absorbing more risk now in exchange for less risk over the time.
Yeah.
Like,
I hear you.
You kind of get my point. Like, I just felt like if Jones really just sort of going, fuck this, I'm gonna force a takedown / pocket. Like, he could just kind of just gotten Santos out of there. And then you're taking a 10% chance in the moment, but you're reducing your minute chance.
Yeah. No, I think you're probably right. I still think Jones is still good. I think he's still like really fucking good.
He's still good. I just don't think he's. I would take the young Jones over the modern Jones. Maybe I think it also could be possibly partly USADA related. Like, I feel like modern Jones pacing himself a lot more than old Jones used to. Like, old Jones just had a fucking deep gas tank. Well, this one he's still got good cardio, but he's just not. Like, how often do we see? When do we ever see like Skinny Jones tired?
Stefan Bonner, but that was way back in the day.
But like, there was like a 6-year period where never, like, even against Nelson, against Gustafsson, that sort of stuff, he just never looked tired.
Cormier too, he didn't look tired.
I felt he did a bit. Like, Cormier just had to work. Again, I feel like against Cormier too. If Cormier hadn't kind of been knocked out there, I don't necessarily think Jones would have won that fight. I felt like Cormier was putting a decent pace on him.
Yeah, see, a lot of people think Cormier had a ton of success in that fight, but like Jones was outlanding him heavy. I thought. Like I think Jones just gets graded on a curve too much.
Yeah, it's also definitely a thing. Like, people expect
that first Gustafsson fight. I thought Jones clearly against like OSP and Anthony Smith, people were kind of like shitting on his performance, and he 50-44'd them. He got 2 points taken away by Smith, and he cleared the point handicap by like 10. And against Cormier, like I still thought he was winning. I think he was just getting graded on a curve. Like it was at worst 1-1, and then he head kicked him in the third round and killed him. So it's like I don't know. I still think he's like really good.
I'm not saying he's awful or anything. I don't think he's what he used to be. I think he's definitely slowing down a bit.
It could be true. Like we have to see more. I do think Thiago Santos is just kind of like, and it wasn't something I anticipated, but I think just like after kind of realizing that he has that power and those kicks, that he's just a little tougher matchup and a different one than Jones has faced before.
Yeah, it's fair. So on to UFC Sacramento. UFC on Sacramento. Starting with Benito Lopez versus Vince Morales. I like Vince Morales a lot from what he showed against Ayman Zahabi and against Yadong. Vince Morales, Benito Lopez. I mean, he kind of robbed. That was a very iffy decision he took against what's his name? Albert Morales.
Albert,
And
yeah.
Bermudez just kind of looked. Bermudez just kind of mugged him. Like Bermudez just made him look like a complete idiot.
Yeah.
I'm kind of letting Vince Morales, but it's 3-week notice. But yeah, Lopez could out-grapple him, but I feel like Vince Morales just kind of cleans him up superior striking. I got some Vince Morales at plus 130, which I'm happy with, but yeah, current prices where Vince Morales like 160. I think that's about right.
Plus 130 is steal. You got him at plus 130?
He opened at plus 275. If you look at best fight odds.
What the fuck was that line? Like, why did it open at that?
I'm pretty sure. Let me just check my best fight odds. I looked the other day and I was like, what the fuck? Why?
I taped this last night.
Opened at plus 185, sorry.
I taped this last night, and I honestly would have thought that line was flipped, like that opening line. Like I would have been like, oh, so Morales was at like -2, whatever.
It took about 6 hours to go from plus 185 to minus 140. Put it that way.
You just said something interesting though. You think Lopez could out grapple him? Like I've never really seen Lopez grapple that much. I mean, I haven't looked at all his regional fights because sometimes
seems like Lopez's like area of competency, I guess. Like just based on what I'm saying, like his striking just seems fairly like, oh, here's a meme random flying knee. It's not really like
his striking is like kicks, spin kicks, and like meme knees. It's not high percentage strikes.
Yeah, just, like I mean, if he just randomly killed Morales with like a flying knee or a spin kick, I wouldn't be like shocked. But Morales is good boxing, and just I feel like any given minute, Morales should be beating him.
Yeah, Morales has way better boxing, and he's way better defensively. And even Steven Peterson on the Contender Series, when he would throw hands and kind of walk him down a little bit, he was landing. Like I feel like he has. If you watch Lopez, he has no defense with strikes. He kind of like he doesn't know how to slip punches. He doesn't know how to parry off shots. Yeah,
that was a justified split decision against fucking Steven Peterson. Steven Peterson is not very good.
Yeah,
frank.
I think Morales is gonna kind of dominate him.
Yeah,
I think
his
hands are way better.
I got a price I like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm under like 2 units ish. Current price, I think it's about right.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, if Morales is a full camp, I'd probably go to minus 200. But like in the day, he's got 3 weeks, so who knows what exactly does he come out like? But yeah.
Yeah. Martinez and Pignon. I haven't taken
massive fights,
but I know these guys. But yeah,
I got some Martinez at plus 180, which I opted off already. So I'm just gonna like, well, I just took it as a line movement thing.
Yeah,
I made $300 after doing that, so I'm like, all right, fair enough. But I'm predicting a fucking mess of a fight. Like Pingu looked good against what's his name Stasiak. But Stasiak kind of just looked flat at the same time, and then he lost to he beat Smart Day. Pignon just like I bet Stasiak quite heavily against Pignon because like I watched Pignon's like regional tape, and it was fucking awful. But Pignon looked okay against Stasiak, so I guess I have no strong convictions here. Put that way.
I have to tape, so we can just kind of move on. Van Buren and Souza.
Oh, Martinez got his ass beaten by Souza. That was a meme fight. People keep telling me to bet Van Buren, and people have this dog. Like I haven't done tape here, but I've heard Van Buren does good things. But Olivia's not bad. I'm kind of hesitant to play a regional debutant at favourite odds against the established women's MMA fighter, just because that's historically not been the best play. But yeah, like I kind of same logic. People told me very good things about Van Buren.
Yeah, I taped, and I think Van Buren's going to win. I do think this is a little different of a debutante because she comes from Invicta, and she's fought girls she's like beaten many girls who are in the UFC already.
There's been all sorts of shit with that. Again, it's just that it's not the first time that's happened. Still, people just like randomly fell off a cliff.
I hear you, but I don't know. Like we've seen Invicta girls come in and
I'm not saying you lose over. I'm just passing because I'm just like regional.
And like if you look at the thing is, like, Olivia's only been in the UFC for 2 fights, and it wasn't like Alex Chambers isn't. I mean, honestly, like, she wouldn't have won a matchup in that one Invicta tournament that.
Look, Olivia last name beating a man, so I'm gonna give her credit for that.
Frota, yeah, I think Frota's actually pretty good, but I'm just saying, like, those are her 2 wins, and I think like Van Buren's wins in Invicta are comparable or even superior. But they both come from like that same Invicta 115 division.
I'm not against like playing Van Buren like evens-ish. Like, I wish I got her like plus 180, like a bunch of other people I know got her.
Yeah, that was a steal. I actually might play her at even. I taped, and I think she's one of the better double legs I've seen at women's MMA, and she seems to be able to float on top well. And she's a better striker and more athletic. And I really like her defensive grappling is something that is kind of a bit of a question mark, but we saw it against Montenegro like in 2015. And even then it was probably pretty good. It was like and it was a very different type of grappling fight. Like Montenegro kind of just sticks on you like glue, where Souza kind of is like one shot and then like, you know, like one single leg, one double leg type of thing.
Van Buren is officially single-handedly beating European shitholes by herself. So
I think she's going to take out Souza.
Look, she beat the country of Montenegro. I'm sure Reddington is disappointed by that, but fair enough. Very sort of niche reference there, but deal with it.
I'm just saying,
I'm
like,
not against a Van Buren play. I'm just kind of like, I might do type eventually, but regional women's.
I just think she'll be the round winner. She has a better gas tank. She's a better wrestler, better striker. It's really just whether or not Souza can get some like dangerous position on the mat at some point, which I've seen enough from Van Buren's grappling to think she's actually pretty good there. But it's whatever. Next fight, Montano Pena. I wouldn't play Pena. What's up?
Lay off for 3 years.
Yeah, I wouldn't play Pena minus 165. Nico's pretty good. She gets
like, you watched like Montano versus like Avia last week, and like I was like, Montano's are awful, but she also got like completely destroyed by Julia Avia.
Yeah. She kind of counter wrestled well against Montana De La Rosa on the Ultimate Fighter, and she kind of shut down Roxanne's grappling game a little bit. But Pena did take a round was kind of winning the second round versus Shevchenko with her grappling. Like, Pena just kind of crashes you up against the cage and kind of just works for kind of sloppy body lock type of takedowns from there. Yeah, I think I wouldn't touch Pena minus 165. I'm probably going to pass on this fight. I think Montano, like a play on her, is totally justifiable though at those odds.
Yeah, they're both coming off pretty big layoff. I just fuck it. To be honest, I just can't be fucked.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm not playing this fight. Maurice and Feely.
I like Philly here. Like, call it plus 130. Now he's like plus, which I think is good. But I think Philly will be more busy in a minute. Like, Philly seems a lot more content to actually pump out volume, when Maurice seems to have like 2 rounds of cardio. And Maurice doesn't seem very consistent pulling trigger. Like, at the end of the day, I feel like it's going to be a case of, alright, Philly's probably going to win at least 1 round, just based on Maurice's cardio being like 10 minutes long. And then it's going to be a matter of, can Maurice do enough in his 2 rounds of cardio to like get enough like explosive success, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, Philly will, I think, just keep out working. Like, I'm not saying Philly will dominate him, but I just feel like Philly will just keep, like, I'm expecting quite a similar dynamic to the Miles Jury fight. Like, I don't think Shaman's hugely similar to Miles Jury.
Yeah, I think it kind of seems like a volume versus a guy with a little more pop who might gas. I didn't tape, but I know these guys.
Have you really seen Shaman go consistently for more than 8 minutes? Like, I don't think there's a mic gas, because like Shaman's just consistently had that cardio issue.
Yeah, but I do think he kind of gasses more if you'll kind of make him more kicks and grappling too, and
I think Philly will
Feely will land a double leg here and there, but he doesn't like.
Yeah, but I think Philly will just put up volume and just make
True. Yeah.
Shaman have to do something. Like, Shaman's gonna not do something, keep his cardio, and lose because he's getting outlanded 2-1, or do something gas. Like, he hasn't really got much of a good medium there.
Yeah, I need to tape. So like striking fights like this, I usually just kind of have to tape and see what I think. But no strong opinions pre-tape. I didn't really. I kind of just saw it and was like meh type of thing. But people seem to like Feely here, but I'll tape and decide.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. Like, it made good money on Shaman, but even against like my best spot on Shaman was not Burgos, Burgos.
Arce.
Yeah, like even against them, like he didn't really do enough to really tighten that. Shaman just has fucking work rate issues.
Yeah.
Like even when he's looking good, he just doesn't do that much. No, I feel like Philly will be quite capable of dotting with T's, and it's a hometown fight. Like if Shaman just found me knocks him out, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
I feel like if it goes to decision, like I'm expecting a decision. I'm expecting Philly will just have done like 1.5 times as much as Shaman will.
In that Feely Jury fight, did Jury drop Feely a couple, like once or twice?
At least once. Definitely like spinning back this sort of thing.
Jury, yeah, this is one of those fights where it's like, yeah, I could see like Feely kind of just like maybe outlanding him a little bit, but the judging getting weird if Moraes he could seal around with a knockdown or just land that little heavier shot type of thing. I think it just kind of seems like a striking split decision type of fight to me. But
pretty much, I'll take Philly because I feel like Philly's more likely to be winning minutes. Like, I'm not saying Philly's going to dominate him or anything, but I feel like Philly should be like minus 120, 130 because Philly will be most likely doing things.
I really like live betting fights like this because they're usually competitive, but you can kind of tell who's winning type of thing, and so you can. Like you could get a guy who you think's up 2-0 in a competitive fight at like minus 200, and it's like, oh, he has to get knocked out type of thing. But I kind of like live betting these like close striking matches a little bit because I just feel like you can kind of sometimes get an edge on the bookies.
Yeah, but the other hand,
and recency bias plays so much into these striking fights too.
True, but the other hand, it's like, all right, I play Philly, but then Philly just randomly gets knocked down. Like,
yeah.
Like, I feel like Philly will be like any given round, Philly will win like at least 80% of it in terms of time.
Yeah,
but that 20% where he loses might be bad.
Yeah, I'll tape it. Like I remember, I liked the way like Feely just seemed like Jury,
Yeah,
I like the way he looked there.
But against Jury, it wasn't like he dominated Jury.
Yeah,
Jury had knockdowns. Jury, if he had like one or two more bursts in round 2. I think could have won that fight.
For some reason, I think I live bet Feely in that fight and won. I can't remember, but Rodriguez Allen, I didn't. I have to tape like 4 fucking fights still. I didn't tape this yet. I've seen a little bit of Allen. Like I know Rodriguez. Like I'm assuming Rodriguez will probably just like dominate this newcomer. But I'll take a quick look at Allen at some point.
And maybe light heavyweight debut. Who knows?
I mean, yeah, that could easily happen. It's like I'm not.
I got other things to do with my life than fucking take John Allen. I hope Allen destroys Mike Rodriguez because the name annoys me, but whatever.
Rodriguez's ITD is minus 180. Ferreira Vittori, I think this is just going to be like a close fight.
Pretty much. Like if I gun to my head, I think Ferreira probably the value side, but he's also 12 years older than Vittori and on downslope career kind of fragile. So like yes, Vittori's most likely to win, but on the other hand, like Vittori's kind of goes wherever the other person wants him to go.
Yeah. I feel like this is I feel like the takedown storm will come early for Caesar. So if you're like interested in playing Vittori, I'd recommend just live betting instead. Like I feel like this is a fight where I feel like Caesar could gas at any point and it may not be taken into account in the live betting if he like wins early or if it's tied 1-1. Because I think against Ian Heinisch, it was kind of like a similar fight, Ian Heinisch versus Shoeface. It was tied 1-1 and it was like even money, but clear Highness should have been like minus 700 at that point.
Yeah, I'll definitely say that. Like,
So I feel like this is just like a live betting fight. I've taped a little bit. I see it being like pretty close, but like I'll keep taping. Robertson Turman. I taped this a while ago just because anytime I see a debutant come in and he was even money versus Robertson earlier. I think I actually messaged you about this fight.
yeah, we definitely did talk about it.
I always tape those early just because I'm like, I want to catch, because I know sometimes they'll get smashed, the line. And Turman, I wouldn't bet Robertson at this current line at minus 225. Turman, like from what it's been a little bit, I'm going to like kind of relook at it, but he kind of seems like a takedown guy a little bit. And he's like pretty athletic, but so I could see him getting success from there. Like Robertson's been taken down before and like beat, but Robertson's still pretty good, but he's still pretty low volume and like doesn't go for the finish all the time. But
look, Robertson got robbed of knocking out Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira randomly came back to life. So yeah, I feel like Robertson should have just been a better kicker. Like, yeah, the way he beat Marshman encouraged me a bit, but yeah, I don't trust Robertson much past that price.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, yeah, if Robertson just completely shit on him, I wouldn't be shocked. But if Chairman randomly won by like heavyweight meme shit,
yeah,
price is like Robertson is too expensive for me, but Chairman isn't cheap enough. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh Emmett versus Mercer Bektic. I'm still quite firmly in the camp of Mercer Bektic. Like when he's actually before he gasses out and becomes fragile, Bektic is a fucking elite featherweight. Like people say, oh well, Lamas and like both of their best wins is both Lamas, but I feel like Bektic's win against Lamas is a lot more significant, just because of how I did it.
Yeah.
Like Bektic kind of widens into Lamas' best areas and fucked them in them, whilst like Emmett was like, all right, you randomly knocked out Lamas' feet where Lamas kind of shit. You know what I mean? He called Lamas a bad night. He killed him, whilst like Bektic just kind of just beat him by decision, while offensively out-grappling him. And like,
Yeah,
if I'm gonna rate anything in Lamas' game, it's that out-grappling.
yeah, I need to tape a little bit on this. I'm so fucking behind. I taped like a little over half the card, but Emmett, just like kind of my pre-tape thoughts. We've never really seen him like out wrestled, have we? Like, I feel like he's got like pretty good takedown defense and things like that, but he's also had like close fights with like John Tuck and shit like that. So,
A lot of like Bektic will gas ridiculously hard after 7 minutes. So it's like, all right, if anybody's gonna kill the gas, Bektic's gonna be Emmett. I play a little bit in yards there here because I feel like there's a decent chance Bektic completely destroys him. On the other hand, there's a decent chance that Emmett just kills the gas there. Bektic. But I got +1 for like 20-ish.
Jesus, Emmett's 5'6".
Yeah.
Damn.
Hey, fucking square.
He like, I don't know, like Emmett. I remember liking the way he kind of. I need to watch that Holtzman fight because I feel like that's kind of something like it's kind of like a Holtzman tried mixing in takedowns with striking, kind of similar to that. That's like what Bektic does,
Not
right?
the elite level of athleticism that Bektic chose before Bektic gasses. Like
Yeah.
Bektic, like my feel, the way I keep describing Bektic to people is like the UFC Pico, like Aaron Pico, but in the UFC, like all right, he's very hittable and kind of fragile, but on the other hand, he's just ridiculously athletic until he gets destroyed.
The thing with Bektic is he doesn't like I feel like he's super. For him to win, I feel like he has to have a lot of success with wrestling. You know.
But I think kind of count. Like, yeah, nobody's really mauled Elkins the same way Bektic should. People have had competitive like wrestling matchup with Elkins, but like nobody's just kind of been like, "Fuck you, I'm mauling you." The same as like Lamas. Like, yeah, he really just destroyed Lamas in grappling like that.
Yeah, but he wasn't afraid of like any power coming in, and I mean, I need to tape.
Pretty
but-
opportunist. Yeah,
Huh?
I feel my play here would be like play Emmett off, like try and pick the pivot. There's probably a spot where, like, after, like, around 7 minutes, 8 minutes, where, like, Bettich is just shitting on him for 8 minutes. You can probably get able to find a gas point.
See, what I'm wondering is if Mersad's forced into kind of a striking fight because he can't get his wrestling going, is his striking, like, I've never really seen him just have a striking fight where he didn't just like an exclusive striking fight. You know what I mean?
Against Pepe, he kind of had one.
Didn't he like kill him though?
Yeah, true, he did. But Bettich, I still think
the first round.
Like, athleticism is like Bettich. I would compare it to like Cody Garbrandt or Aaron Pico.
Yeah.
Like while he's still got his cardio and his durability, he's fucking incredible. I feel like because he hasn't fought in a while, people have kind of forgotten about him. But I just feel like, but on the other hand, Emmett is durable and carries power deep. Like so, any moment, like in the third round, Bettich could just die. So it's just like, well, I like the RTD.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to play I don't want to play Emmett pre-fight because like I get a spot defense spot and play. I don't want to play Bettich pre-fight because I feel like it's good. These guys just dies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna have to tape and kind of figure it out. But the next fight, which I did tape, Hall and Elkins. I know you like Elkins here.
It's a fucking mess.
What's up?
How can you tape this fight? It's a fucking mess.
Yeah. I saw some things that were valuable though on taping. I feel, but
I think there's some valuable spots, but just kind of a lot of it depends. Like Elkins deals with leg lock for it. And I think Elkins will be a lot busier minutes a minute, and Hall just kind of has this weird meme game. But other refs can respect the weird meme game. Like there's a lot of it, like a lot of Hall's successes get come down to how it's judged. Even against Maynard, he could have lost that fight randomly.
The hardest thing about this fight when I was taping is just the way Hall fights makes it weird to judge, because even against like Maynard, he would kind of just like fall over anytime Maynard would kind of like force him in, would kind of get close to exchange, and he would just kind of fall over, and the ref would stand him back up, and like he was kind of getting the rounds, land a kick and then fall over, you know. And so that kind of makes it weird. And then even on the floor, see, I actually kind of I'm not big on leg locks. Like they're stupid because it's just a low man tendency and you can get exposed to punches. But Hall will actually use them to sweep and kind of get back takes even from them. And he'll also kind of throw, like he's good at controlling posture to land punches as well. So scoring from the bottom, because even against Artem, he was on the bottom for like 3 minutes, but he got the round on every card. And I like agreed with it. But I could also see like too much bottom time fucking him too, you know? So it's just like a weird
optics and guard balls and that sort of shit where just like Elkins kind of being busy and Hall's doing weird shit and judges like, yeah, fuck that.
A thing that concerns me for Elkins, though, is I don't think Elkins is like, I don't think he can like land all that consistently. I just don't think he's like a consistent lander on the feet. But
is the goat.
But one thing is, I've seen him kind of get his back taken.
Elkins versus Dan Kelly. I would pay to see that fight.
You love those two guys.
Mate, how can you not love Dan Kelly? How can you just not? Like Dan Kelly, he never went to a UFC fight as a favorite, and he won like 4 out of 8 times.
Yeah, he's valuable from a betting point of view.
Elkins. Like Elkins is, I think, is the most valuable person in UFC history for pure betting. Like how could just being tough as fuck is a fucking asset.
I know, but
being tough and busy, and I could see Elkins just being tough and busy here.
Another thing I don't in the grappling, Hall will he'll get some back takes with his sweeps and things and put in body triangles, which I've seen Elkins get his back taken and kind of rode out from that position. So that's like another thing for Hall. I think it's going to be a weird fight. I think it's going to be really weird, and people are going to I don't know. Like I feel like you could judge it in a subjective way. My lean's actually that Hall's going to win, but I don't know if I'll bet it.
I think something's pretty coin flip. Yeah, I have no. I took Elkins because the dog, and I'm like, all right, this is gonna be. I feel like Elkins will do more, and I feel like it's gonna be pretty kind of close anyway. So like, Elkins minus 150, but like I'm not. I have no strong conviction Elkins gonna dominate me. And I have a very soft spot for Elkins. I hit Elkins against Vectix. I've hit Elkins a bunch of spots over the years. So I'm like, fuck it, Elkins.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tape it and I'll figure it out.
I appreciate a guy who just gets by tough. Toughness and volume, that's just beautiful. That's what the sport should be about. I want Elkins to beat Vectix, because by Vectix, yes, he might be God-given like, athleticism, but Elkins is just fucking tough as shit.
Yeah, he's tough.
There's nobody as tough as him. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I do think Hall's gonna win that fight though, but I don't know if I'm gonna play it. I
have a weird feeling that whoever wins will look like, but it's just such a weird, like there's such a massive face space going into that fight. With like,
yeah. Next fight, Simone Faber. I think it's kind of one of those fights like Faber hasn't fought for a while and he could easily have. Did you watch his recent grappling fight?
Against Nick Yuan?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I have heard of it. Like, well,
yeah.
He got beaten. Like, yeah, I think Simone should outwork him, but still Faber. And it should be a primarily grappling match. And I think grappling goes last.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think 1.33 is enough to. The other hand.
Hey, you're cutting out. You're cutting out a little bit.
I can't just leave him passing in this sort of spot. Like, I respect Faber enough. I don't want to fade him at 1.3, but on the other hand, I don't want to play Simone at like 4-1. I don't want to play.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a pass too. I will say, like, just I'm high on Ricky Simone, like especially his wrestling. You know that, but I do think Faber's kind of a hard guy to hold down.
Pretty much. Like, I think Simone's kind of wading into a specialist. Like, even old Faber's still a good grappler.
Yeah.
Like a great grappler. And, you know, if Faber's going to have a last hurrah anywhere, it'll be here.
Yeah, like, out of all, like, the really good bantamweight, because I think Simone can beat a lot of guys. So I think he's, like, justified to be a ranked bantamweight. But of all the good bantamweights, I think this is kind of a fight Faber could maybe win, but I mean, he hasn't fought forever, so he might look terrible. But because like
it should be.
Simone's not the best striker. Like, he's like aggressive and tough, but he's not the best striker. But Faber's not either. And then I do think Simone will land a lot of spot takedowns. Like, he'll land a lot of double that land. He's a legit fucking wrestler. I just don't think he can hold Faber down. You know?
Yeah, you say that. Like, yes. Faber's very good off. He's quite good at scrambling back to his feet and just keeping busy. And also, part of it being in Sacramento, I'm kind of like a hometown advantage. Faber's legend in the sport. Simone still hasn't really developed much of a fan base, I don't think, amongst public.
Yeah, they're going to be all about Faber in that fight.
Yeah, but personally, it's my personal like narrative view of the sport. I want Faber to win just because I like Faber.
Yeah. I like Faber too.
Like, Faber can beat Simone and just go on a run and win the bantamweight championship, in my opinion.
I think Simone. What's Simone's decision line? Minus 140. That's a little too steep. But I don't think he'll finish Faber.
What's not Simone finish? Yeah, 1 point. Yeah, fuck that. Minus 400.
Yeah,
minus 400 is not worth, because like, Faber could just be a corpse.
Yeah,
like, that's always makes you playing guys like old. It's just like, all right, I'm just done.
It's pretty crazy. Like, if you think of all the fights Faber's been in, he's only been finished 2 times, and they were both by like quick first round knockout against Mike Brown and Henan Barao.
Yeah, I might play a little bit of, like, if Simone KO ends up like plus 1,000 or some shit, I might hit it just because, like, statistically older fighters tend to get knocked out.
Yeah.
And like, I don't see Simone submitting Faber. I just see him like there's a chance that Faber just looks really, really, really old and can't defend himself.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch Faber's kind of last couple fights, but it's kind of a hard fight to tape just because he hasn't fought for so long. I watched that grappling fight too, but yeah, I think the line's probably right, to be honest. Like I would favor someone like this who's the better wrestler as like the younger guy. I'd favor him probably around like 75% or something. That hometown crowd could be weird because even if if Faber has a moment, he could steal around.
Yeah, I'm not against somebody playing either way, but I'm just nothing in neither of those prices really attract me.
Yeah.
Like Faber's old fundamentally. Like I probably feel more compelled to play Faber just because I like dogs, but
yeah.
GDR versus Lads.
Oh God, I'll just let you take
Aspen Lad is fucking awful. But she could just randomly win this. It's just like I played some GDR at plus 160.
Of course you did.
Fucking awful. Like she's fucking awful. There's no one. There's just like what is she good at apart from top control grappling? It's just like Aspen Lad is just like it's this social experiment where we take like an average blue belt male and stick him into the UFC. It's in like UFC like bantamweight. All right, here's a random blue belt male. Like, what happens if you stick a 16-year-old Ricky Simone into the UFC bantamweight women's division? Like, Aspen Lad has no striking defense. She's not particularly good wrestler. She's not particularly like. She's just fucking awful. It fucks with me. Well, Amanda randomly like, yeah, she's a good striker. She should be able to hit Lad at will, but there's decent chances of women's MMA. But Lad just eventually beams her onto her back and destroys her. But
yeah, so this is kind of my thoughts on this fight. I agree, Lad's way worse of a striker and all that. And
it's not like Lad's that elite a grappler either. It's like, yeah, she's good from top position, but she's not like.
She has a good enough top game. She has a good enough top game to finish a GDR if she gets it.
Yeah, definitely. But like, it's not like her wrestling's not really much of anything, is it?
No. So this is kind of what I see. Obviously, GDR, like if she's upright, she's going to be winning the minutes, and Lad does gas a little bit, or she gassed a little bit against Eubanks, which I didn't like, but I do think that was like a very, very grappling, because Eubanks is a legit grappler.
Yeah,
so both girls had to really work, in like that type of grappling fight. So I think that's kind of why Lad gassed, because there's a lot of resistance coming from her end. Like the times you gas the most in grappling is not when you're going against someone you're better than, or even someone that you're worse than. It's usually whenever you're kind of evenly, because there's a lot of resistance from both people. I don't know if you agree with that, but that's kind of how I've always thought about it.
Yeah. Hear that?
But Lat, so I feel like that's kind of why she tired out a bit. I would have to watch some of her other fights, but she's got a lot of quick finishes, so it's hard to kind of like see if she gasses hard. But GDR so I don't know if Lad will gas. I guess that's kind of what I'm saying. But GDR will be outstriking her for sure. She's a way better striker. But Lad, a lot of like her wrestling's not good, I know, but this is women's MMA and you can randomly just get top position out of nowhere. And she's kind of done that a lot. So like in a 5-round fight, I'm just kind of worried if you're betting GDR that she could be winning and get finished at any point. And the fact that Lad her whole like game is she'll every now and then level change and shoot a double, but she kind of pushes you up against the cage and looks for like trips and kind of just like meme takedowns from there. And GDR, like, even though her takedown defense is good, and a lot of people will point to kind of the Pennington fight and stuff, she does hang out against the cage a lot and kind of rely on the clinch to kind of defend her takedowns, if that makes sense. And I don't like the fact that Lad has kind of easy entries to get her up against the cage, like easy opportunities. Because once you're up against the cage, like, I just feel like GDR, yeah, she has good takedown defense and it's improved. But if you're hanging out there that much against a girl who likes to work her takedowns up against the cage, you might get taken down, And just like I think the chance in a 5-round fight is that Lad will get a takedown at some point,
Yeah, pretty much. Like
that's what I think.
finishes off any given takedown. But like, yeah, Lad's gonna be absorbing a lot of punishment along the way. I just look at that and like, go, yeah, it's gonna be a fucking mess.
I originally liked Fight Doesn't Go to Decision, and we talked about that and capped it around -130, and I think it opened at that. It's now -280, which I don't like.
It opened at like plus. I think it opened at like plus odds.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
At least in my book, it was -130.
It opened at pretty much evens, and now it's down to -136, -300. -300's fucked. Like, at the end of the day, these are women. Like, these are women's bantamweight. Like, it's not like I can't trust. Like, Lad could maul GDR, but like, if GDR just hung on for minutes and still won a decision or something, it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
This is why there's like, in terms of like actual volume for me, this is why the smallest cards have been on now. Like, there's some like
I'm gonna have a
twos that I think should be like 1.8s, but there's no, I have no like strong convictions that any underdog should be massive favorites or anything.
Yeah,
I think the prop market seemed pretty like weak. Like, I'm not expecting a huge ton of interesting finishes or anything. I'm expecting like just
Yeah. One little like thing that I've seen a lot of people who are on GDR kind of say is that GDR is really they cite her belt, that she got her like purple belt, which I don't give a fuck about. But is I think in 2013 is when Nunez kind of took her down easily and just dominated her from top position. And they're saying, hey, like her takedown defense has improved, so like she's probably improved down there. I just don't think in like 5 years that she has improved to the point where she was then to where she needs to be now if Lad gets on top of her. Like, Lad 10-8'd Eubanks from the top position, and there's no way GDR is even close to Eubanks on her back. Like,
I agree, definitely.
I mean, is it possible that all of a sudden she can like kind of survive down there and just kind of wait out the rounds and then start on the feet later and then just kind of dominate the next round? I think that's possible, but I do think if she gets taken down, especially if there's more than like 3 minutes at a round, she's probably fucked.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. I'm just looking at this going, like, I pick up some GDR like White Dog because I feel like Lad's not really insisting upon her own shit, but
yeah.
How you can't really feel strongly about either side here. Like, I feel GDR should be winning every minute till she dies, but she could just die.
Yeah. Overall, like for the card, I'm still kind of taping, so I'm like behind, but like favorite plays, like I do like Van Buren. Like I think she's gonna win. I'm not going big on her because a few question marks, but I'm just gonna play like a unit on her.
Philly, I guess.
Like, I have my eyes on some other plays too, but I'm just kind of like still taping.
Yeah, Philly's probably my biggest play. I'm not real. I have no strong conviction for anything. I haven't gone beyond 2 units or anything. I like Philly because I like Philly at plus 30 because I feel like Philly will be busier, but I'm not going to play him like evens.
Yeah, Feely by decision plus 155, decent.
But like, yeah, like I got Philly money line.
Well, yeah, if you got his money line close to that, then yeah, I'm just talking about compared to even money now.
Yeah.
Van Buren's decision line is pretty good. Like, I don't see her finishing Souza, but yeah, but the only thing I really have right now is Van Buren. I have like a small play on her. I think she's, but I'm like also not dumb enough to go big on her, you know? Because kind of just the question marks of like a debutante, even though I think she's like Invicta debutantes are fine. Like, they're fighting pretty much UFC women fighters.
Thank God we've got RDA versus Edwards coming next week, so we actually have to talk about. This fight is fucking god's-awful. This card is just mediocrity. Like, I mean, what are you really looking forward to out of this card? Mirsad Bektic is literally the only thing I'm really going, oh fuck, I want to see this guy fight.
Yeah, Elkins Hall will be fun, just because
like in terms of like future prospects and sort of stuff. Like, Simone seems okay. Simone, yeah, like Simone. Bektic. That's pretty much it. Like, in terms of like, I can plausibly see these guys fighting at like a top 5 in the future. I think there's like Simone and Bektic really have that potential.
Yeah, what that
like Randomir and Lad are in the top 5. Who gives a shit?
Just like we'll spend 5 minutes just kind of like wrapping up and talking about the next card, the Edwards RDA. What are your leans on Edwards RDA?
The actual main event.
Yeah.
People keep telling me they like RDA a lot. Like RDA just, I was very big on RDA against Lee, and I didn't feel like he looked that great against Lee. Like, he still won the fight, but Lee had his moments, and I rate Edwards very, very highly. Kind of passing for the moment, so I feel like decent shot I could get Edwards at dog, which I'm happy with, but
It's a close one, man.
yeah, pretty much. Like I've seen some people who think RDA will dominate Edwards. I'm like, but then other people think Edwards will dominate RDA. No, like I'm hoping that the RDA will keep coming in and I can get Edwards at like plus 130, 40-ish.
Edwards KO will be interesting. I like he can land hard, and I feel like a lot of this could be on the feet because both guys are pretty good defensive wrestlers, you know.
Yeah, I'm looking at the prices, like two which jump out at me. I like Vic and I like Janelle. Like, what is Hernandez really proven?
Ronaldo's one that I'm kind of eyeing right now too. I do want to take, but like Hernandez is just kind of like a. That's all he really is.
Yeah, he just
he's not a striker.
Yeah, even wrestling. He's more pace than really wrestler, I'd say.
Yeah, what I saw against OAM was that he was like a decent wrestler, not like a great one, but he was a decent one. He's from the St. Louis area where I'm from, so like, I knew he wrestled growing up. A kid who I coached in high school knew him, but I just like Trinaldo's Trinaldo's kind of hard to out wrestle from what I remember. It's tough.
Yeah.
But
he's athletic, he's tenacious, and he kind of pushes forward, but I don't think he's like an elite wrestler. Like, he's not like insanely good at wrestling, so I don't think he has to get fight. And I think James Vick is better at like the tall fighting tool sort of style, or Hooker's a lot better at fighting like people whilst being tall. And Vick is going to be bigger than Hooker, and who knows how Hooker deals with that.
Yeah.
Also, at the end of the day, Hooker's coming from a fucking life-changing beating.
Yeah.
Like, it's
plus
rare,
150.
but
Plus
I'm
150
watching.
seems steep for Vic.
Yeah, like, it's rare I'm watching UFC and like going, holy shit, this should be stopped. I'm disgusted. But yeah, last Hooker fight was fucked.
Sam Alvey being an underdog to that Clifton Abreu guy kind of seems weird, but I don't.
How fragile he looked against Crute.
Yeah, I know.
I did not rate. I have never rated Crute that highly as a puncher, and Crute
just
destroyed him. So maybe Alvey's just done.
And he just doesn't do shit, Alvey.
Yeah, maybe Alvey could pick him off, but Alvey used to at least be durable.
Yeah.
These days, do I even trust durability? Like, Alvey, I could kind of rely going, alright, he's got a very powerful counter, and he's quite durable, so if the other guy continues pushing forward, eventually Alvey will kind of win the durability fight, even if he's not really doing much in the front foot. But now that I can't trust the durability. Yeah.
And then just, we can briefly touch like a few, I'll put timestamps on this video, but we can briefly touch on PFL. We have Thursday and Bellator's Friday. Like, are you playing anything?
It's fucking scrambled to get any sort of limits on my box, so probably not. Looks like a bunch of TNC lines. Well, taking TNC, it was decent TNC, I felt. I had a bunch of Tricoli, which went pretty well. Just looking at the price of PFL, John Howard doesn't seem like, I've always had a soft spot for John Howard. You know why? Australia had a long-term prime minister called John Howard for like 15 years. So it was always amusing. Like if there was a UFC journeyman called Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Like, you would have that certain like love for this guy called Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Like Rick Story's name is Bill Clinton. You're like, all right, I enjoy it. Like, just being able to call this guy Bill Clinton would just amuse me.
One close odd fight just out of PFL and Bellator is Njokuani and Carvalho, however the fuck you say his name. That's kind of interesting. I'll tape that, but yeah.
But Carvalho's lack of real pace against Machida. Like, if Cavallo had just done more against Machida, he could have won that fight quite easily.
Yeah.
But he didn't. So
I max bet Salter over Njokuani in like November, so I was happy.
Yeah.
Like a striking fight here, so.
Yeah, I'm saying like I'm just I can't trust the pace. So if I can't trust the pace, I can't trust you.
Yeah.
Probably I'm probably done for today.
Yeah, cool.
So
This is a long podcast, so
this
I'll put
one's a
timestamps
bit
on it,
towards
guys.
the end. All right, nice pleasure to talk to you. Pleasure to talk to wider viewing audience.
Yeah, cool.
Good times.
Cool.
Thanks,
I'll see you
Gugabe.
next week, man.
Yeah, see you next week. All right.
Bye.